Today I will be doing a video on Monster. A 17-year-old black boy named Steve is falsely accused of a crime involving a robbery that ended in murder. He now faces 20 years in prison. I really enjoyed this movie. I just found out about this and it was first released back in 2018, but it is now on Netflix. This story follows a black teenager who wants to be a filmmaker. He goes to a really good public school outside of the neighborhood he lives in. He runs into a group of other black youths who are rough around the edges. Then, soon after, a crime takes place. I usually hate stories like this, where a black person is falsely accused of something they didn't do. I personally have experience with this, thankfully not to this extent, but it was still scary and maddening. If I wanted to watch something where black people are being punished and experience emotional torture porn, I would just turn on the news. There are two reasons why I did decide to watch this. One, because I love Kelvin Harrison Jr. He is so sexy, and he's always playing a troubled person. He's so talented, but so underrated. I also like the trailer. Something was different about it, and I couldn't put my finger on it. Most of the movie is very entertaining. Most of the movie is very frustrating. It's a very infuriating movie going experience. I was constantly uncomfortable. I was squirming. I was on the edge of my seat. It was really bad. It's a well done film. It's entertaining. The acting is phenomenal. The writing and pacing is perfect. It's not on the nose. Only one time do they mention race, mainly because of the jury, but you know that's a constant thing that cloaks the whole movie. The jurors are the biggest villains in this movie, and Steve is the victim at their mercy. This wasn't any different than movies like Mercy or Clemency, all similar storylines. What I really liked about this was that it didn't feel like exploitation. It didn't have grotesque jail scenes where Steve is getting sexually assaulted or beaten up. They just show enough to where you know he's miserable, but most scenes either take place before his arrest or the trial. Jennifer Hudson is playing Steve's mom, and when I found that out, I was shocked. She looks so young. I thought she was his sister, his older sister, and her husband was her father. She's a great actress and isn't given much to do. She's just the mother in the background, which is fine because this movie is supposed to be centered around Steve. I actually really liked the fact that she didn't have too many emotional breakdown scenes, and she was just very feminine. She was just the grieving mother who was, being a woman. She was very feminine, and she's dark skin or dark brown skin, and it's nice to see a woman of that skin tone be portrayed as very feminine and soft despite what she's going through. And not to sound like I'm dissing Viola Davis, I think she's talented and I do like her, but I am sick of the black woman struggle face. Now, moving on to the other black characters who were actually a part of the robbery. In my opinion, they had a crabs in a barrel mentality, and them lying on Steve was due to jealousy of his innocence. I don't think it's 100% all about getting a lighter sentence. I think they just despised him right away and saw him as an easy target and to bring him down to their level, which is a real problem in the black community. Like those two women in Bali who got deported, and other black women on Twitter were rejoicing about it because they were jealous that those two women had success and money. This type of dysfunction needs to be called out more. If you're a black American, I think you're going to get something out of this. I certainly did. The ending made me cry. I was bawling my eyes out. I was a complete mess. I give this film a 9 out of 10. This is not going to get the praise from the mass audience for obvious reasons, but it's a really good film and I do recommend it.